Hey guys, welcome back to Fox and Raven Healing Den. I'm Tara. Today is day 25 of our Shadow Work Journal Prompt series. Today we're going to talk about toxic relationships. What is an unhealthy relationship that you are in currently or maybe have had in the past? And tell me a little bit about why you think you keep forming those unhealthy relationships. Why do they form? Why do you keep coming back around to those types of relationships? And how can you stop that cycle from happening in the future? So I would say that my toxic relationship trait, definitely the portion that is on me, is that I can tend to be very codependent. I can tend to attach myself very easily to people and then pour myself completely out until I am angry and bitter because I am not getting the same love back. I think I tend to push myself completely over the edge until I no longer know who I am in that relationship. I lose myself completely into it. And it definitely ends up with me feeling bitter and angry and lonely in those relationships. And so that would definitely be one of the traits that I exhibit, or why I keep circling back to that, is that it's just one of my, I don't know that I would call it a personality flaw, trait maybe. It is a flaw to me because it's something that I've had to work to overcome through therapy and some different things, but that would definitely be one of them. The other one is I have a little bit of a savior complex, and I don't know if this is because I am a natural born healer, like I just want to help or just want to love people, but I have this way of looking at people who are broken, and instead of seeing the train wreck that I'm possibly walking into, or the hurt that would exist in a relationship of that manner, I see the bits and pieces of them that need to be loved, and I desperately want to fix it. I desperately want to make it better. I want to be the one person that loved them when they were feeling unlovable. I want to be the one person that stays. I want to be the one person that fixes the trauma. I want to be the one person who is the one that's different than anything they've ever had. And I end up being in these relationships where I'm not necessarily trying to change the person, but I'm just trying to love them at their worst. And it has brought me some of the worst heartache from those cycles. Definitely the way that I would fix that is to recognize that sometimes people aren't going to change, or they don't want to, or they're stuck in their cycle and they're not going to do anything to help themselves get out of it. This is true for addicts, or people who maybe thrive on chaos or drama, and they have no reason or drive to want to get out of that cycle. And so I really had to start evaluating honestly the relationships that I have or have had, and really look at that relationship and say, okay, what am I getting out of this? Because friendship or relationships or partnerships or even family relationships should definitely be a two-way street. It should not always be one person calling, or one person making the effort, or one person loving or pouring themselves completely out. It definitely has to be a give and a take. And if you stop what you're doing and the relationship comes to a complete halt, I think that's a really good indicator that you're pouring yourself into a dead relationship. And so I've really stopped giving myself completely over. Boundaries in this situation, I cannot stress enough how important boundaries are to have in relationships as a gauge for how people treat you, and stopping that cycle of finding yourself constantly in the same types of relationships. So I urge you that if you are in the type of unhealthy relationship that just does not feel good to you, you can't figure out why you keep getting into these abusive or toxic or unhealthy relationships, really examine the parts of yourself and the parts of the other person that don't work, and think about what boundaries you can set to keep those cycles from continuing. And I think you're really going to uncover some things about yourself and about the way that you see other people or deal with other people that will help you set those boundaries, you know, to stop the manipulation, to stop the abuse, to stop not getting things out of your relationship. Love should feel like love. It should feel easy. So that being said, I can't wait to hear or see your comments about what your type of unhealthy relationships are and how you plan to stop those toxic cycles. If you want to catch the rest of this series, please do that here. I would love if you would subscribe to the channel. I've got some wonderful things coming once we wrap this series up. The next episode will be here, and a video that YouTube thinks you will like will be here. I hope you have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow for day 26. Blessings.